You're watching NFL Daily by Chat Sports, and I'm Mitchell Renz. The question that I'm hitting you with right to start this bad boy off with, who has the best defense in the National Football League? I want you to scroll on down, and I want you to argue in the comment section. Let's get now to my number 10 team, the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Eagles, to me, are one of these fun teams that I think have one of the best fronts in the National Football League. And when you really look at teams that really try to get nasty, try to really beat you up on the interior of their defensive line, on the outside as well, the Eagles are one of those teams. And also, if they can finally stay healthy, if you can get a player like Josh Sweat to step up, this Eagles defense could take another step. Let's also look now at their linebackers, where it's ugly. And I'm just going to be very honest with y'all. I've got a lot of friends that are Eagles fans. They would tell you, the Eagles linebackers, not pretty whatsoever. And I would have said, before probably free agency, before the draft, their secondary, also not that great. But I do absolutely love the trade that they went out and made for Darius Slay, giving him 3 years, $50 million. Also, maybe one of the steals in free agency in general, Nicole Roby-Coleman, getting him for a year, at a very, very cheap contract. This Eagles defense, I think, is building their defensive line and their secondary, trying to match up against the Dallas Cowboys. Let's go to the number 9 team here on my list of top defenses, the Denver Broncos. And as long as John Elway's running the team, and as long as this Broncos team's breathing, they are going to be predicated on running the football and also with great defense, led by Von Miller, Bradley Chubb, an absolutely dynamic duo. Sure, they did lose Derek Wolfe, Chris Harris Jr., which absolutely hurts. But another trade that I think was an absolute steal, getting Jarrell Casey from the Tennessee Titans. And A.J. Boye is getting up there a little bit in age, about 30 years old. But getting him from the Jacksonville Jaguars for only a 4th-round pick, I thought that was a really good trade also for the Broncos. And the fact that you were able to keep Justin Simmons, probably one of the best young safeties in the entire league. So here at Chat Sports, if you want more top 10 lists, we've done top 10 quarterbacks, top 10 running backs. Do you want like a top 10 tight end? Wide receiver? If you want more of these kind of lists, hit us with that sub button, or you can take that link below and send it to all your friends. We're trying to get to 200,000 subscribers. We're getting closer, so help us out. The number 8 team here, the Los Angeles Chargers out of the AFC West. And when I think about the Chargers back in 2018, this was the best team in that division. They did take a step back, but every single time we talk about the Chargers, it kind of sucks, and I don't really believe in teams getting cursed. But I think the Chargers are one of those teams because they have an undoubtedly talented defense. You have Joey Bosa. Obviously, you have Joseph, you have Jones. But then you also have Melvin Ingram, who's really able to get after the quarterback. And then you go out and draft Kenneth Murray out of Oklahoma. Yes, you traded up for him, but if that's the middle linebacker you wanted, hey, that's the guy that you went out and got. Now let's look at their secondary. Who are you going to throw at here? You have Chris Harris Jr., Casey Hayward, Desmond King, and now, hopefully, a healthy Derwin James. Because when fully healthy, the Chargers, they could be that sleeper defense that, sure, they're not in my top 5, but at the end of the season, if you told me the Chargers have a top 5 defense, it honestly wouldn't surprise me. Because when fully healthy, they're a tough team. Speaking of Derwin James, if anybody out there wants an NFL jersey, or if you're trying to get your dad something nice because Father's Day, it's coming. It's on Sunday. We're going to hook you up here at Chat Sports. So if you go to the link, chatsports.com/jersey deal, you're going to be able to get jerseys under $80, some even 25% off. We're showing a lot of defensive players because, hey, this is a defensive player show. If you also want to get some of the top stars on offense, you can do that at the link. It'll be in the comments. It'll be in the description. Show your dad that you care about him, but also it doesn't have to be just for Father's Day. You can get him a jersey any day, all 365 days of the year. Now, Marcus Lattimore, he's on the next team that we're talking about here, and it's the New Orleans Saints, where I will say this. We talk about Drew Brees, Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, the offensive players a lot for this team. I think they actually have one of the most underrated defenses in the entire league, and they got better in the offseason. I absolutely love the pairing of Von Bell with Marcus Williams. I think that'll be really great. And then, the cherry on top, if you will, can you tell? I got a bit of a sweet tooth. The Malcolm Jenkins going to this team in free agency and really just kind of takes them to that next level. The Saints have been that team where you really thought, at least I did, I put a lot of money on them to go to the Super Bowl, could take that next step. Now, sure, they've maybe gotten ripped off a few times, but if you're that team and you have Drew Brees in his prime still, and you're really just trying to take that next step, I think a player like Malcolm Jenkins could really help out a lot there. The number 6 team here is the Baltimore Ravens. Sure, you're going to talk about Lamar Jackson and the offense, But again, when you talk about Baltimore, I do want to tip my cap to an organization that has really just been able to establish great defenses year after year. And I think that's exactly what you're going to have this upcoming season as well. I love the addition of Derek Wolfe on the front. You have Williams, but then Calais Campbell, being able to, I'll just say straight up, steal him away from the Jacksonville Jaguars, that's really going to help you out a lot. Then linebackers, you're always going to talk about linebackers when it comes to the Baltimore Ravens. Matt Judon, keeping him on the franchise tag. Plus, I think you picked up one of the best coverage linebackers in the draft in Patrick Queen at an absolute steal of a value at pick number 28. But then also the depth in the defensive backfield where Marcus Peters is still, I think, a pretty solid corner. Sure, he goes for the home run, but I'm okay with that once in a while because you have guys in the back end like Clark, like Earl Thomas, those ball hawks where they're going to be able to make some plays. And let's face it, that division, the AFC North, is a pretty tough division. And you know what? We're going to stick here in the AFC North. We're going to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers at number 5, and I'm excited to see how many Ravens and Steelers fans debate in the comments and who's got the best defense in that division. I'll be watching. So I think, though, when you talk about regression, obviously I'm a big fan of the Steelers defense, but I think that you could see a little bit of regression from last season in the simple fact of I just don't think that they're going to score as many touchdowns as they did last year. I mean, they were converting touchdowns on turnovers at a very, very high rate. The Minkah Fitzpatrick trade, an absolute slam dunk, proved to be huge. Now, if they can maybe get Ben Roethlisberger, this team could really take that next step. But when you talk about how this defense wins games, it is led by their linebacking core, which I'll say, and I don't really think it's going all that crazy, the best in the league. You have T.J. Watt, who's putting up just silly numbers, 14.5 sacks. But look at the quarterback hits. Like, that's just dumb good, right? 36. Plus, you have Bud Dupree. Bud Dupree does scare me a little bit in the sense of, like, I could see him take a step back, but he had 11.5 sacks, 17 QB hits. Well, wait, there's more. Devin Bush still kind of just getting his feet wet in the NFL, had over 109 tackles, and I'll be really interested to see what Bush can do here in his second year with the Pittsburgh Steelers coming out of Michigan. So I kind of hinted at it before, right? I mean, anytime you have an inner rival, there's going to be debate. I'm from Pennsylvania, and I know how awesome this rivalry is. So let me know who's going to have more wins in 2020. If you think it's going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers, type PIT. If you think it's going to be the Baltimore Ravens, type BAL. We do have an awesome Bears channel here at the Chat Sports, and I encourage you all to go check it out, chatsports.com/Bear now. So they're number 4 on my list, and if you are a Bears fan, please go subscribe. You can see the link below. They had the best defense in 2018, and there was a little bit of regression in 2019 from Khalil Mack, from a lot of defensive pieces, and there was also some injuries there as well. Now, I think the fact that Mack's going to be entering that year 3 with this team, I do think that's going to help him take a step forward. But also, I think one of the great additions in free agency was the addition of Robert Quinn, who I do think is going to help this Bears defense out a lot. Now, I think one of the ways that the Bears were really able to dominate in 2018 was getting pressure. Can Hicks, can Goldman, can Nichols, can these guys continue to get after the quarterback? Because, yes, you're led by Khalil Mack at linebacker. Danny Trevathan, he needs to have a better year this upcoming season. I absolutely love me some Roquan Smith and Robert Quinn. The front is good for the Bears, but they're going to win football games here with their linebackers. But I also don't want you to forget about their secondary, where I think they try to do a little bit too much, honestly, with Kendall Fuller. I think if you use Fuller in the way that he's meant to be used, the Bears could win a lot more games. Buster Screen is, well, he can be good sometimes out of the nickel. He's also a little bit of a head case. Johnson out of Utah is going to be an interesting pick there at cornerback too. But this Bears team is still going to be led by, I think, one of the best defensive players in the National Football League, and that's Khalil Mack. So if you missed your opportunity to get a jersey, I'm going to hit you with this one more time. Go to chatsports.com/jersey deal because they are 25% off, and these deals don't last forever. We find the best deals. We put them on our shows. That's how we do it here. So Father's Day, right around the corner. It's June 21st. It's sneaking up on you. Don't be a bad son. And even if, right, like you can buy jerseys for your dad, it doesn't have to just be Father's Day. It can be anytime. We're making it easier for you. Go to chatsports.com/jersey deal. It's time getting the top 3 defenses in. This is where it really got difficult for me. And if you don't like my list, please, I encourage anyone to hit me up. I'm on Instagram at Mitchell Renz 365. I have the New England Patriots, and I understand that the Patriots lost a ton of talent, I think, in free agency. But I'm just never going to count out Bill Belichick. Now, I think it's funny because Brian Flores, also, Patricia, they kind of stole some of these players away from the New England Patriots. Kyle Van Noy, Miami, Roberts, Miami, and then the next three guys go to the Lions, Jamie Collins, Danny Shelton, and Harmon, which is going to hurt. But this is one of the best defenses coming off 2019 where they were great. You still have Stephen Gilmore, who is the best cornerback in the National Football League, and the McCourty twins. I mean, you still have a very, very talented team. Plus, as I mentioned before, I just can't count out Bill Belichick. So even though they did lose a lot of talent, I do anticipate this defense to still be pretty solid. The reason why I have them at number 3 is because from a number standpoint, they might take a step back because I think their offense is going to take a little bit of a step back. The number 2 team is also in the AFC East. I have the Buffalo Bills, and I'm expecting big, big things out of Buffalo, and I actually anticipate Buffalo to win that division. If you think I'm crazy, you can find me. Losing Shaq Lawson hurts. Lorenzo Alexander, he retired. Obviously, these things don't help. But you were able to at least kind of replace those guys by signing Mario Addison in free agency and drafting A.J. Epinesa, where, Epinesa was a player out of Iowa who we had a few times projected to go in round 1. He ended up falling down to Buffalo. I think he's going to be a good fit there. And Ed Oliver. Ed Oliver has just proven to me that size, should be a Manscaped read, doesn't matter because this man is just an absolute phenomenal player in the interior. Really excited to see what he's going to be able to do in year 2. And this is how this team's going to win games. Up front, and then one of the most versatile players in football, not just on defense, but Tremaine Edmonds, the middle linebacker for Buffalo. Man, when he first came out of Virginia Tech, I was like, this guy's insane. Plus, you pair him with A.J. Klein, and then, oh, wait, we're not done. The secondary as well. You add some, depth a little bit with Josh Norman. Yes, it's not the right picture. That's on me. You have White, obviously, is a great player there. Micah Hyde as well. So for this Buffalo Bills team, I think from top to bottom, an absolute great defense. But, hey, Chat Sports, we are about debating, and that's what I'm going to do here. So we asked you earlier about the Steelers and Ravens. Let's do it again here with Buffalo and New England. Who's going to have more wins in 2020? Type Buffalo for the Bills or New England for the Patriots. The number 1 defense entering 2020. It might not be too big of a surprise to some of y'all. I have it as the San Francisco 49ers. And when you talk about GM, head coach, I think it's one of the best duos in the league. But then it also goes down to Robert Saleh, who has done an incredible job with this team. And you traded away Deforest BUckner. Obviously, he's one of the best defenders in the league. But I really like the fact that then you go out and get a Javon Kinlaw out of South Carolina in round 1. And, heck, you even traded back, sure, only one spot, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But you knew what you wanted to do, and you had a plan, and you did it. Plus, you have all these key defensive players in your secondary. You basically bring all them back. Nick Bosa, what can he do in year 2 coming off Rookie of the Year? 47 tackles, 9 sacks, and then plus D Ford. We didn't even really talk about D Ford because he was banged up. One of the best defensive players back in 2018. Then you have your linebackers, Quan Alexander. When Quan Alexander was healthy, this 49ers defense was totally different. So if Quan Alexander can get healthy, if D Ford can stay healthy, this 49ers team could actually even be better. But wait, we're not done because you have Richard Sherman still. You were able to bring back Ward. And when I think about a lot of these teams, you talk about being able to keep the best pieces on your team year in and year out. That's when you really see teams take that next step. And that's what the 49ers are able to do. That's why they are the number 1 team entering 2020 on defense. So who should be in the top 10? Obviously, 32 teams. Couldn't put them all in the top 10. That's just how math works. So if you don't like my top 10, hit me up on Instagram, or what I really want you to do is go down in the comments section and let me know. Give me a team that I left off my top 10 list. So we'll run through these real quick from 10 all the way down to 1. Eagles, Broncos, Chargers, Saints, Ravens. And then my top 5 defenses entering the 2020 season. Steelers, Bears, Patriots, Bills. And at number 1, the 49ers.